Welcome into Bulls Postgame Live, presented to you by Toyota. Jason Goff, Kendall, Gill here in the East Atrium at the United Center. The Bulls take it on the chin tonight to an undermanned Memphis Grizzlies squad, 142 to 131 KG. A lot of people scoring, but this 140-point thing that's happening defensively. You heard Stacey and Zach talk about it at the end of the game tonight. Right. It's got to get figured out. Offensively, the firepower is there. We're going to talk about Zach LaVine and what he did in the third quarter. We're going to talk about Modest, but defensively, something's got to happen here. 142 this frequently is too much.
Yeah, this is the second time this season that it has happened, 144 points that you give up. And you look at the offensive numbers, the Bulls shoot 50% from the field, shoot 48 from three, have 29 assists. If I'm looking at those stats and I don't see the score, I'm saying the Bulls win this game. So it's obviously there's not really a problem on the offensive end. It's the defense that they need to shore up. And, you know, I don't know what adjustment Billy has to do, but he's got to find out something quickly because every team now is going to walk into the United Center or welcome the Bulls in and say, hey, listen, guys, I mean, this is going to be a party tonight. Yeah. You know, because we can get 140 on this team. They will give it to you.
A couple of years in a row now, too, where we've seen teams be more comfortable than they should be not having players in the lineup. You know, I know Desmond Bane is a really good player. I know Brandon Clark is a really good player. Jaren Jackson Jr., Defensive Player of the Year candidate every single year. These are really, really fine players. But with no Ja Morant and no Marcus Smart, like you said, you need to jump on them early and put them away.
And we didn't get to my keys in the game earlier today because we had so many other things. But one of my keys to the game was do not underestimate this basketball team. That was the first key of the game because we're coming off of a nice victory against the Atlanta Hawks last night. Everybody's feeling good about themselves, and you don't have Ja Morant playing, you don't have Marcus Smart playing. So sometimes you have a tendency to have a letdown. I think that's sort of what we saw tonight. And, you know, old saying in boxing, I say this every year, if you don't take your opponent seriously, he then becomes serious. That's what you saw tonight. These Memphis Grizzlies team became serious after the first quarter. Scotty Pippen Jr. came in here, played a great game, career high 30 points, doing it where his dad won championships. And, you know, we heard Stacey say he texted Pip, and Pip wasn't even watching the game. So
that's how y'all old cats get down. My son did what?
So you have to take everybody seriously in this league. You know, they are in the NBA for a reason. Memphis Grizzlies showed that tonight.
I mean, this is a collegiate player of the year in his conference. It's not like there's just somebody getting in on the name. Scotty Pippen Jr. can play some basketball. We'll talk about him during this post-game show as well. Zach LaVine, after a slow start to the game, watching Modest do his thing, watching Nikola Vucevic do his thing, you know, biding his time, waiting, came out in that third quarter. That was the separating quarter, but he played with a different kind of energy, a different kind of aggression. What did you think about Zach, not only in the second half, but especially in the third?
Well, I really liked the way he turned it up in the third. He knew that his team needed him in the third quarter because they were behind, and I felt that Zach did a great job of integrating his offense, not forcing anything, just waiting. He actually waited to see everybody else get their shots, get their offensive flow together, and then he decided to just take over in the third quarter, which he did good. I mean, 29 points, 2 great offensive games in a row. Just unfortunate they couldn't get this game because this was a gettable game. You know, especially with 2 of their top players out.
Yeah, it was a gettable game, and especially the start that you saw. If you are one of the stars of this team and you see Modest Buzelis do what you normally would do in the first half, and you see Vooch carry it in the first half, it's then time to turn it on. You saw Zach turn it on in the third quarter, but as you mentioned, the defense the defense was leaky all night long, and it has been for a lot of the start of this season. Billy talked about it in the post-game press conference 2 games ago about being better pros, making sure that you're doing stuff off the court, watching the games, analyzing who you're defending. It's just when you're counting on so many different players and so many different young players, Julian Phillips not in the lineup tonight, but when you're counting on so many different guys, learning tendencies and learning where guys are going to be, the stuff that you and Horace were talking about in the pregame, it matters.
It does matter. And one of the things, if I were Billy, to make an adjustment. I say, okay, the NBA has gone 3-point crazy. They have, okay? But you look at tonight, Memphis Grizzlies have 64 points in the paint. What I'm going to tell my guys in practice, all right, everybody run back. We're going to run back to the paint first.
Collapse.
We're going to collapse, and we're going to protect the paint first. Then we're going to build out to the three-point shooters. But we got to come to home base first before we spread out. Because a lot of the times we're guarding the three-point line, players out there, and the lane is wide open. Mm-hmm. Instead of guys having 1 foot in the lane, like traditional defense is played.
Yeah, especially when you'll have like you mentioned, traditional rim defender or traditional shot blocker.
Right.
It's a lot easier once you get past that first line of defense. So got to play on the string like you always talk about. Got to play on the string. Modest Buzelis, what more can you say about his first half tonight? Second half went a little bit differently, but he is our Toyota player of the game tonight. Modest Buzelis is trying to dunk everything, and he's been doing so since the Summer League. He gave this team a real spark of energy in that second quarter, KG.
No, he really did, having 14 first half points. Wasn't able to duplicate that in the second half, but boy, did you get a chance to see the talent that Modest Buzelis has. Look, this kid's supposed to be at Southmore College, you guys. Yeah. And he's here in the NBA doing things that you see veterans do, especially in the first half. You saw him play like a vet. He has a bright future, and the more time that he gets, the better he looks.
Hey, listen, I fell in love, first of all, when you told me about him. You had seen him in his prep days.
Yeah, saw him in high school.
Around Phoenix, exactly. And you told me, you put me on to him. Yeah. And then in the Summer League, I was sold because he tried to dunk everything around the rim. And let's face it, man, the athletes that are on this team, you would think that there would be more vertical attacks, more aggressive attacks, more above the rim attacks. Yeah. If he is bringing that to this team and to this game, I'm all for it. Make aggressive mistakes. I got no problem with it. He had 10 shots in the first half. He only got 3 shots in the second half. Rotations, guys, veterans stepping up and trying to, exert their talent on the game. But I'm a Modest Buzelis fan. This is how I felt about Kobe, actually. Remember his second year? Where I was like, hey, Kobe's quickly becoming my favorite player on this team. I'm not going to say that Modest is there yet, but these kinds of games, I need more of this. Because if you're gonna develop young dudes, you want to see them develop not only in these moments, but in the moments on the come up as well.
No, you do. And the one thing that I like about Modest, he's got a attitude.
Got a little edge to him.
Got a little edge to him. And you need that in this NBA. If you're going to be successful, if you're going to play multiple years, you need an edge to you. I absolutely loved when he was in the draft and he said, listen, the first pick in the draft from Atlanta was Riche.
Yeah, Zachary Riche.
Zachary Riche. He says, he does not want to see me, okay? He proved that last night against the Atlanta Hawks.
Say that again?
Riche? Zachary Riche.
Okay, you've been to Paris before?
No, I've never been there.
You've never been to France?
Never been before.
Oh, we should go sometime, man.
Yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, as long as Emily is there. Is Emily still there?
Who's Emily?
Emily in Paris.
Who's that?
Come on, man. You got to know the sitcom Emily in Paris. You don't know?
Why do I have to know that?
Oh, it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Oh, now Naomi on me too now. I'm sorry, gang. Okay. My bad.
But anyway.
Is Emily going to be... I'm sitting there like, hold on, KJ, don't get me in trouble now. What we doing?
I thought you did.
Yeah, my fault.
Okay. I thought we could run with it, but we couldn't run with it.
No, it's fine. It's even better.
But let me tell you, Modest, I love his attitude. I love his willingness to put it on the line. I love his willingness to say, hey, I'm better than this guy.
And not scared to get dunked on either. He's challenging shots at the rim, too.
Yeah. So you need an attitude like that, and that's going to serve him well in the future. I look for him to have, he's got the talent to be an all-star.
Hey, listen, I hope he's making it uncomfortable for everybody on the court in practice. Hey, move around. Like, I like that. I like that. And a bunch of those kind of dudes.
Yeah, and also to guys that say, hey, listen, this kid is behind me.
Yeah.
I better play. Or else he's going to get some of my playing time.
Hey, listen.
You always need guys like that on your team.
Listen, guys get healthy quicker.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? The minutes start to move around a little bit. Vooch tonight had a big half. We talked about Modest in the first half. Vooch had a terrific half.
He did.
And then he finishes up with 26 points. This is one of those games that got a little bit away from the Bulls, started shooting a lot more three-pointers. But Vooch, again, man, 26 and 8. Like, what more can you ask for out of this game?
You can't. I mean, Vooch is playing perhaps the best basketball of any Eastern Conference big in the league right now. I mean, he is playing great basketball like Orlando was, the two-time All-Star that he once was. And, I don't know how this pans out for Vooch in the long run. I hope if the Bulls can win some games here, I hope that he and Zach can get some All-Star consideration because, we're 14, 15 games in now?
Yeah.
Okay, 14, 15 games in now.
I think both of those young men are playing like they want some All-Star consideration. So the hope can be more hopeful.
Yeah.
Right. The trade headline coming around that time. People are already circling. I told you. People in Denver hitting me up. People in Golden State hitting me up like, hey, man, see what's going on out there in Chicago.
I'm sure. But I hope that they can do it here.
For sure.
I hope that we can win some more games so that they get serious consideration.
For sure.
Because a lot of times guys have all-star years and teams don't have the victories, and that doesn't warrant them being an all-star.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
Shout out to Joe Dumars.
Shout out to Joe D. Thanks for taking my spot, Joe D.
That's why I did.
That one time
right up there at the rim for KG. I know which button to press. Shout out to Joe Dumars. That one time, KG.
You,
hey, go back and check the stats, ladies and gentlemen. This is the man right here.
Yeah.
All right, our must-see matchup recap. Scotty Pippen Jr. versus Kobe White. Kobe had an off game, didn't really get the looks that you expected him to get. Scotty Pippen Jr.
Man.
Hey, this is one where you send the Pops. Hey, Pops, if you ain't see the game, I'm going to send you a little attachment, little zip drive.
That's right.
30 points tonight, man.
30 points, and he was doing it everywhere. He was taking the ball to the basket, knocking down threes. And not only that, he was running the offense to perfection. Everybody got to touch the basketball. They had 7 players in double figures. Look around, you had 38 assists tonight. He was responsible for 10 of those assists. 30 and 10 from a point guard.
Yeah.
Those are great numbers.
It's an all-star night.
Taking advantage of his opportunity. Ja Morant out. So it's Scotty Pippen Jr.'s team to run. So, this is going to go well for his future contract negotiations. This is going to go well for his future free agent
bragging rights
possibilities.
Bragging rights, too.
Also bragging rights.
A lot of conversations about people's sons playing in the NBA these days.
This is true.
Yeah,
this is true,
yeah. And shout out to Naomi, because Naomi wrote this down for me. First of all, it starts with fun fact, which Naomi knows. That's the way I talk. Fun fact, the last person to score 25 points and get 8 rebounds and shoot 80% from the field, 8 assists, and shoot 80% from the field at the United Center was who? Just give me a name.
I don't know.
Just give me anybody. Scotty Pippen Sr.
What?
Was the last person to have the type of game that Scotty Pippen Jr. had tonight. Hey, this is Naomi. She.
I was going to say Ja Morant or somebody like that.
Oh, it's Tam? Shout out. It's Tam.
I was going to say Dame Lillard or somebody like that.
No. Scotty Pippen Sr. was the last person to do that. Yeah, at the United Center. Have that kind of stat line. So shout out to the family.
Hey, the Pippins like the United Center.
Yeah, they do.
They like it.
Unfortunately, this one was playing against the Bulls tonight. This one was playing against the Bulls.
That's true.
All right, we got a lot more for you here on Toyota Bulls Postgame Live. The Bulls unfortunately lose 142-131 against Scotty Pippen Jr. and the Memphis Grizzlies. You're watching Chicago Sports Network.